Out of 10 people who see this painting, 9 have absolutely no idea that it hides a massive, scandalous secret from 19th century Parisian high society. The artwork in question is A Sunday Afternoon on the island of Le Grande Jatte. Standing at 2 meters high and 3 meters wide, this monumental masterpiece was created by French painter Georges Seurat, and it currently resides in the Art Institute of Chicago. In the art world, the universally accepted, iconic reading of this piece revolves around 2 hidden double meanings: fishing and walking a monkey. And trust me, back then, neither of those activities was innocent. On the surface, late 19th century La Grande Jatte was just a weekend getaway where the middle class went to soak up the sun. But in reality, it was a notorious underground hotspot for streetwalkers and high-class courtesans looking to scout out wealthy clients. How do we know? Well, there are about 40 people featured in this scene, strolling, fishing, sunbathing, walking their dogs, handling monkeys, or just sitting on the grass daydreaming. On the left, the man lounging on the grass represents the working class. On the right, the elegant lady holding the parasol belongs to the bourgeoisie. Look closer and you'll spot soldiers, nannies, and children, people from all walks of life. Now that we've scanned the crowd, let's get back to the fishing and the monkey business. In French, the word for fishing, péché, sounds exactly like the word for sinning or moral corruption, péché. Back then, it was an inside joke that everyone understood. The woman holding the fishing rod on the left isn't actually looking for fish. She's using it as a cover story to reel in wealthy, upper-class men. So, did anyone actually catch anything? Yes. Look at the elegantly dressed couple on the far right. The woman is holding a pet monkey on a leash. In French, a monkey is singe, and a female monkey is singesse. In 19th century Parisian slang, singesse was a direct code word for a prostitute or a woman of loose morals. And this was absolutely intentional on Seurat's part. Art historians later used X-rays and discovered that this monkey wasn't even in Seurat's original drafts. He went back and deliberately added it later. This woman is decked out in ultimate luxury. Just look at that massive bustle skirt, and she's walking next to a dapper gentleman in a suit. But that monkey on her leash instantly strips away her carefully manufactured high society disguise. It exposes who she really is, a high-class courtesan, a cocotte, kept by the wealthy businessman standing right next to her. Georges Seurat was only 24 when he painted this. By all accounts, he was still just an innocent young guy. But he definitely noticed the secret transactions playing out all over the island, and it was this very painting that made Seurat an absolute legend at 24. Why? We'll get to that in a bit. First, let's talk about something everyone loves. How this painting went from a mere 800 francs to an estimated $650 million. Talk about a legendary comeback. While Seurat was working on this piece, the mainstream art world mocked his method, dismissing it as nothing more than tedious mechanical labor. Then, in 1891, Seurat died tragically of an illness at the young age of 31. At the time of his death, the painting hadn't even been sold. It wasn't until 1900 that it saw its first recorded commercial sale. A man named Casimir Bru bought it for a meager 800 francs and gifted it to his daughter. Cut to 24 years later, in 1924, a prominent collector named Frederick Bartlett, advised by a curator at the Art Institute of Chicago, bought the painting for $24,000. And that is how this masterpiece found its permanent home. Even though it's a priceless national treasure and will never hit the open market again, top art appraisal firms and billionaire collectors once ran a thought experiment to simulate its market value. They universally agreed that if it ever went to auction, the final hammer price could easily skyrocket past $650 million. They have 2 main reasons for this. First, it's a total rarity. Seurat's life was incredibly short, leaving behind only a handful of large-scale pointillist works. And A Sunday Afternoon is his largest, most complete, and most definitive monumental painting. The second reason, another pointillist masterpiece of his, Model's small version, sold for a jaw-dropping $149 million, shattering the world record for any Seurat artwork at auction. So, experts believe A Sunday Afternoon is easily worth over $650 million. Alright, now let's look at what makes this painting so captivating. Aside from the hidden subtext of Parisian society, what else is there? His technique. It looks like a casual group of people enjoying a sunny day by the Seine. But look closer, and you'll notice a strange, eerie vibe. Almost everyone in the scene looks as rigid as a statue. No talking, no interacting, no expressions. It's like time itself has frozen. If Monet was catching light, then Seurat was calculating light. When this was first exhibited in 1886, it sent shockwaves through the Parisian art scene because it looked absolutely nothing like the Impressionism everyone was used to. Seurat didn't mix colors on his palette like traditional painters. Instead, he tried something radically new, applying tiny dots of pure color, like red, yellow, and blue, directly onto the canvas. Up close, it's just a massive sea of tiny colored dots. But step back, and those dots automatically blend in your eyes, creating rich colors and brilliant light effects. This technique came to be known as pointillism, or neo-impressionism. Today, it might seem ordinary to us, but back in 1886, this was a full-on technological revolution in the world of painting. So why do these people look so bizarre? That was exactly Seurat's grand design. Impressionism was all about the fleeting moment, about change, and about motion. But Seurat wanted order, permanence, and scientific precision. So he rendered every figure with the static stability of an ancient Greek frieze. Many art historians argue that Seurat wanted to elevate daily Parisian life into a grand epic with classical dignity, and that's what creates this incredible paradox. Ordinary people hanging out in a park, yet looking like statues in a sacred temple. A Sunday afternoon on the island of La Grande Jatte actually predicts our modern condition with chilling accuracy. Even though everyone is gathered in a beautiful park, all dressed to the nines, there's absolutely no eye contact between them. Each person exists as an isolated island, radiating a kind of mechanical, calculated coldness. Think about it. It's no different from going out with family or friends today, where everyone is glued to their phones around the dinner table or in the living room. It's the exact same thing. David Riesman, the 20th century sociologist and philosopher, coined a famous concept in his landmark book, The Lonely Crowd. Modern people might live in bustling cities and dense social networks, but we are more dependent than ever on the approval of others just to find ourselves. Beneath the surface of this seemingly harmonious social gathering, everyone's inner world is plagued by an underlying sense of alienation and burnout. Over a century ago, Seurat used millions of isolated dots of color to map out the true essence of modern urban society. We are tightly packed, yet profoundly alone. Those seemingly perfect social lives and flawless weekends are usually nothing more than a performance to fit into society's mold. Whether you feel fulfilled or empty depends entirely on whether your performance today satisfied your own expectations. We all feel this reality. We all know it's there. But how many of us can actually drop the mask, seek true inner peace, and embrace our authentic selves? Sunbathing in the open light is the standard routine of the middle class. Trading sex in the shadows is an age-old fundamental reality of human society's underbelly. The two don't actually contradict each other. Together, they piece together the world as it is. Seurat wasn't trying to paint a sordid red light district. He was simply acting as an objective mirror. Moving past virtue and vice, he laid out humanity's hidden needs, desires, and hypocrisies, dot by dot, flat across the canvas. Once you strip away the high society masks, it's all just raw human instinct wrapped in elegance. Art doesn't exist to police our morals. Its only job is to capture the human experience. Today, on the island of La Grande Jatte, the French government has set up a famous Impressionist cultural trail, supposedly to preserve this monumental chapter of art history. But a century later, the parasols, the heavy gowns, the leashed monkey, and the absurd era they belonged to have all been stripped away by time. Modern buildings have risen on the far bank, and new visitors now occupy the lawns. The spaces change, the eras shift, but the underlying pattern of life remains exactly the same. Are we sitting here sunbathing and scrolling through our phones today without saying a word to one another? Really any different from those rigid, frozen figures Seurat painted more than 100 years ago? We still crowd into thriving cities, yet we remain entirely marooned in our own private deserts. Climax Art. Dive into masterpieces from global museums and explore the deep reflections of life. I'm Brother Gao. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing to support the channel.